Hello friends, welcome to number 9, our second to last in this 10-part series on perma-creativity, how the permaculture principles map to creative flow. Today we have a threefer. So the 8 is integrate. That's what we're going to be talking about, but integrate covers so much ground in the permaculture world that I'm using 3 different principles all together. Use and value renewable resources and services, produce no waste, and integrate rather than segregate. Waste, friends, is only waste if you waste it. Everything is made up of energy, and all energy is useful and usable. The key to having a closed loop, self-sustaining system is to make sure that every element is used to its best advantage. You just have to learn how and when and where to use it. For example, let's talk about poop. I know not everybody's favorite subject to discuss, but it's a great example. Classic within permaculture. You grow this delicious food, you eat the food, and then you produce this waste product, poop, right? But here's the beauty of nature. With proper treatment, that poop can be transformed into human manure, an excellent fertilizer that will enrich the soil that grows your food, thereby creating even more nutritious and delicious food for you to eat. And on that closed loop cycle goes. You can even turn poop into biogas and use it to cook that delicious food by using a biogas converter that feeds your gas stove. The problem is the solution. The same is true of your creative flow. If anything you're doing is not creating some kind of holistic value for the people and for you and the people you care about, stop it. Just stop doing that. It's not worth your time and energy. Shift the energy you were pouring into that activity into something that's bringing you more of a yield. Now, this goes back to principle 3, generate a yield. Everything you do should be generating some kind of yield for you and yours. You can find activities that will bring you yields on multiple levels, not just one. For example, I used to spend hours and hours and hours on Canva every week, creating these beautiful posts and scheduling them to go out on social media. I just thought that's how it was done, and so I just kept doing it even though it wasn't producing very much engagement or response, and it certainly wasn't helping improve my bottom line. It was not generating any kind of revenue. I just kept on doing it because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. And then one day, I got a wild hair, and I decided to try just recording a short 30-second video reel and posting that instead. The response was immediate. More likes, more comments, more website visits, and more enthusiastic direct messages. So my response was just as immediate. Like, why am I going to spend my time doing this thing that's getting no attention when I could be doing something that takes me much less time and energy that gets me lots of attention? Way more positive response. Of course, I'm going to do that thing. I integrated this feedback into my routine right away. I took all that Canva time off of my calendar and I added in instead 3 10-minute post reel things on my calendar. That's it. Every week, that's all I spend is 10, 10, 10. And with all that time freed up, I was able to get a lot more writing done. I was able to finish Spark Genius ahead of schedule, and I was even able to complete a first draft of another book on top of that. This will not be on the test, a permission slip and guide for tweens to unleash creative flow. Watch this space for that one. Now, your time is an important renewable resource, and it should be respected as such. This goes back to something we talked about in video 6, which is collaborate, use, and value diversity. Now, if you are trying to be all things to all people, wasting valuable time and energy doing stuff that you objectively suck at, that is clearly not making the best use of your time and authentic gifts. And it is not creating the best value for your audience. But If you're treating the professionals you hire like disposable single-use plastic tools rather than integrating them into your network as long-term business partners, you're doing everyone involved a grave disservice. Let's say you need a logo. So you go on to one of many freelance sites. I know I've been a freelancer. I know what's out there. There are lots of sites for this. You hire a logo designer. They send you the design. You pay them. That's it. But what happens when you come to a new clarity around your brand and you need to make some changes to that logo? Or when you realize that you're going to need a whole bunch of different cohesive design elements, not just a logo. And you can't, like, if you can even find that original designer, are they even going to be available? Are they even going to be in your price range anymore? You have no idea. Now, let's imagine instead that when you realize that you're going to need the help of a graphic designer, you just put out a post on social media and said, hey, who do I know who knows a great graphic designer, preferably someone who could really use the work. Now you're tapping your network, you get a few recommendations, you have some conversations, you pick someone who really seems to get your vision and believes in your mission. This is someone that you'd like to work with not just on this one logo project, but on any project down the line that requires graphic design elements moving forward. And trust me, there will be more. If you need something once, there's a good chance you're going to need that thing again. Now, instead of looking at this as a one-time transaction, you're incorporating a new collaborator into your ecosystem. You're offering someone whose work you appreciate, steady, enjoyable, meaningful work. Now, let's say you're a little cash poor right now. You're not necessarily in a position to pay them what you know they and their work is worth. Think about other things that you can offer up in trade. Ladies and gentlemen, bartering is the new black. You heard it here first. We are going to be seeing more and more barter, trade, and other forms of non-monetary exchange happening as we get deeper into this recession and as people wake up to the reality that money is not real value and that they are surrounded by value and they have real value within them to offer. You have skills, you have gifts, you have things that you can offer. So put those offers out on the table along with whatever cash you can offer and see what they are willing to exchange for that. At the same time, you are also creating extra value for your audience because you're creating a more positive, more visually coherent experience on your website and throughout all of your products and services. That's a win-win-win. Integration is the process of continually finding ways to improve efficiency, reincorporate those elements that otherwise we would consider waste, and looking for solutions within the problem. Everything you need is already here. You just need to know how to use it. Thank you so much for joining me. Next time will be our very last video in this series, and that one is naturally evaluate, creatively use, and respond to change. And I'll see you then.